Imagine a world where children were molded into instruments of terror, their innocence stripped away, their minds reshaped for a dark cause. From the ruthless indoctrination methods to the emotional and psychological impact on the children involved, we'll explore how an organization left an indelible mark on history. Join us as we delve deeper into this dark chapter of history, revealing how a regime's insidious grip on youth shaped not only a generation, but the future of an entire nation. The Hitler Youth. In the early 20th century, Germany was a nation in turmoil, recovering from the devastation of World War I and grappling with economic hardship. Amid this chaos, a new political force rose to power, led by Adolf Hitler and his Nazi Party. To secure their future and ensure unwavering loyalty, the Nazis targeted the most impressionable segment of society, the youth. Thus, in 1926, the Hitler Jugend, or Hitler Youth, was formed. What began as a relatively small movement soon evolved into a compulsory organization for all German children. The Hitler Youth wasn't just about marching in parades or wearing uniforms. It was an all-encompassing indoctrination process designed to shape the minds and bodies of young people, turning them into devoted followers of the Nazi ideology. Members were subjected to rigorous physical training, preparing them for future roles in the military. They were taught Nazi principles, racial purity, and unwavering obedience to Hitler. The aim was clear: to create a generation ready to serve the Führer and defend the fatherland at all costs. But this wasn't just about education and physical fitness. The Hitler Youth also had a darker side, one that involved manipulation, coercion, and brutalization. Children were encouraged to spy on their parents, report disloyalty, and even participate in acts of violence against those deemed enemies of the state. Imagine being a child forced to choose between family and ideology, pressure to conform or face severe consequences. The Hitler Youth created a climate of fear and suspicion, tearing apart the very fabric of family and community life. Daily life in the Hitler Youth. Physical training was a cornerstone of the Hitler Youth experience. Boys and girls alike were subjected to a grueling schedule of exercises that included long marches, military drills, and camping expeditions. These activities weren't just about fitness, they were a preparation for war. Imagine waking up at the crack of dawn to march for miles with a heavy pack on your back. Picture yourself navigating through harsh terrains, learning survival skills, and practicing with wooden rifles. This was the daily routine for thousands of young Germans. Parades and flag ceremonies were frequent, instilling a sense of unity and national pride. Members were taught to handle weapons, endure physical hardships, and follow orders without question. Through these activities, the Nazis aimed to foster resilience, discipline, and absolute loyalty. The boys, known as the Hitler Jugend, were prepared for future roles in the armed forces, while the girls, part of the Bund Deutscher Mädel, or League of German Girls, were groomed for motherhood and service to the state. The regime left no stone unturned in its quest to shape every aspect of young lives. Yet the transformation of these children went beyond physical conditioning. The Nazis sought to control their minds as well. Education. Education in Nazi Germany was fundamentally altered to serve the regime's goals. The school curriculum was infused with Nazi ideology, where traditional subjects were twisted to promote racial theories and glorify the Führer. Textbooks were rewritten to include anti-Semitic rhetoric and pseudoscientific racial classifications. History lessons glorified Germanic tribes and military conquests, while literature classes praised Aryan ideals and condemned those who opposed the regime. Even subjects like mathematics and biology were manipulated to fit the Nazi worldview. Mathematics problems would involve calculating the cost savings of eliminating the disabled or the mentally ill, while biology lessons focused on eugenics and the superiority of the Aryan race. Through relentless propaganda, children were taught to revere Hitler as their ultimate leader and to view themselves as the vanguard of a new, pure society. The line between education and indoctrination blurred, leaving no room for dissent or critical thought. This toxic blend of physical training and ideological indoctrination created a generation conditioned to obey, fight, and sacrifice for the Nazi cause. The once vibrant spirit of youth was replaced by a cold, unwavering devotion to a destructive ideology. Psychological manipulation and control. The Nazis targeted the young minds to secure their ideology, molding children in the Hitler Youth through a mix of rewards, punishments, and relentless indoctrination. Exemplary commitment was rewarded with badges, medals, and public recognition, elevating a child's status within the organization. This competitive atmosphere drove children to demonstrate their devotion fervently. Dissent was met with harsh punishment, including ostracism and discipline, isolating them from non-Nazi influences like family traditions and friendships. Members were often taken from their homes for camps, training sessions, and rallies, ensuring continuous exposure to Nazi propaganda. They were taught Nazi ideology in school and encouraged to report dissenting family members, further driving a wedge between children and any opposing views. Friendships were conditioned by loyalty to the cause, turning social circles into echo chambers of Nazi beliefs. This system also extended into physical training and paramilitary activities, preparing children for future roles in the Nazi regime. Participation in war crimes. In the final years of World War II, as Germany faced mounting losses, the Hitler Youth was thrust from the training grounds into the brutal reality of warfare. Many of these boys, some as young as 16, were drafted into the Volkssturm, a national militia, or even integrated into regular military units. These young soldiers were often ill-prepared for the horrors they would encounter. Rushed through minimal training, they were sent to the front lines, tasked with defending cities, manning anti-aircraft guns, and engaging in direct combat with Allied forces. Accounts from the time describe how these youths, driven by a mix of indoctrination and fear, fought with a fervor often lacking in their older counterparts. They were taught that their sacrifices were noble, their deaths heroic. But the reality was far more tragic. Caught in the maelstrom of war, these boys experienced firsthand the chaos and brutality of conflict. They witnessed and participated in acts that no child should ever endure: executions of prisoners, scorched earth tactics, and brutal skirmishes that left no room for mercy. One such former member recalled, "We were sent to the front with barely any training. I remember holding my rifle and feeling the weight not just of the weapon, but of the decisions I would soon have to make. The things we saw and did out there, no one ever prepared us for that." The Hitler Youth had promised them glory and honor, but instead delivered them into a nightmare where they had to reconcile their actions with the ideals they had been taught. The aftermath. As the Allied forces liberated Europe and the horrors of the Nazi regime were fully exposed, the young members of the Hitler Youth were left to grapple with the harsh realities of their indoctrination. The war had ended, but their internal battles had just begun. Many former Hitler Youth members faced profound disillusionment. They had been raised on promises of a glorious future, only to see their world crumble into ruins. The sense of betrayal was deep. Their heroes were revealed as war crimes, their beliefs as lies. One former member recalled, "We had believed in a cause that was supposed to be just and noble. After the war, we realized that everything we had been taught was a lie. The future we had fought for didn't exist, and we were left with nothing but guilt and confusion." The psychological and emotional scars left on these individuals were profound. They struggled with guilt, shame, and the trauma of their wartime experiences. Many had witnessed or participated in atrocities that left indelible marks on their conscience. If you found this exploration informative and thought-provoking, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching.